I need you guys to answer this one for me. Do you really use your Netflix subscription? I don't, not a lot. Most shows there don't get my attention besides Castlevania, I would say. For you, maybe, but I really don't make my subscription worth it. So when I saw Uncle from Another World, I asked my friend's account so I could give it one episode and do the review for the last video. And hear me out. Maybe only this anime isn't worth it, but if you have it, next time, give it a try. Isekai Ojisan is, oh my god, I'm talking about Isekai again, a new anime from this summer season 2022 featuring that creepy dude from Kaguya-sama and his nephew, surviving the dangerous and hostile lands of the YouTube comment section as they use their uncle's magic powers to make viral videos to earn them miserable ad revenue at the dawn of the apocalypse. To give you more context, Truck-kun got another victim, and this time we can congratulate him since he hit those ugly bastards from NTR dojins, sending him to the worst depths of hell, also known as Genshin Impact. No. However, our protagonist, Ojisan, is not like most ugly bastards, as he overcome the most awful situations and hardest challenges and achieved the Chad status. But not in appearance, only in spirit. Now, finally back from Mihoyo's sanatory, he will make use of all his knowledge and powers to live with his nephew and play Sega games on the consoles that he always wished for, which unfortunately as someone who had a Dreamcast as a kid can say it didn't end well. And while that, we, the viewers, get to hear the tales of how he got his powers, avoided all single hot elves in his area, and became the chattest of YouTubers who trash talk his viewers, who should totally agree with the YouTuber opinions and takes. Okay, I'm saying it again. Comedy is subjective, but this show doesn't disappoint. If you like exaggerated faces and screams, it has it. Day-to-day topics and fun humor about it, it has it. And more impressive enough, break of cliches for those who can't endure any more trash isekai. It has it. We can finally name another one than Konosuba as a parody isekai. I still don't know if it will get stale, but honestly, since the anime doesn't treat itself seriously, I can appreciate it, and for this reason at least. What about our protagonist, the uncle? Here's the thing, he is the OP main protagonist, but as you heard, he breaks the cliches starting from the appearance, running away from the Kirito style main character. He's this old, skinny and creepy dude that has a soft heart deep inside. I consider him a better protagonist different from other ones, where for example the Meikyuu one does terrible things thinking he's on the right, a selfish who thinks he's the hero without realizing the awful person he is. I mean, the world building of the anime doesn't help, to be honest. We know that there are thieves on the city where he lives, but what about their lives? Do they rob because evil person does bad things or because they don't want to starve? He doesn't ask the moral questions and think the world as black and white you can possibly imagine. But even his morality is inconsistent. In episode 7, minor spoiler here, he mentions that he felt empathy for kobolds because they remember people of some sort. But why he didn't feel that when he killed real people, just like 10 minutes before in the same episode? I see that the author tried to make the main character more complex than most isekai do, but instead he constantly breaks his personality for the sake of continuing the plot. In this case, making the main character learn magic in a unique way, which worked. But the quote from later didn't fit his character. Ojisan, although not sensitive, is way better where he respects everyone and makes sure to not judge by appearances. He minds his own business, doing his stuff, and you can say that this led him to a lonely life, but he doesn't seem dissatisfied with that. He lived his adventure and we are seeing how he breaks the cliches of isekai, which, to tell the truth, I felt annoyed, especially when he could have helped someone in the cliché path. But the anime still shows how he helped people the non-cliché way. It is not satisfying, I'm not lying to you, there will be moments that I would hate Ojisan. Again, I'm trash isekai. I'm sorry, but I admit that he's funny, okay? Oh, and since I'm going to talk about Haru in the Labyrinth of Another World, let me tell you what this anime is about. Isekai Meikyuu Denharenwo, or also known as one of these possibilities, is an isekai of our generic OP main protagonist called Hiroshi, Seichi, Matia, Ardo, Ichiro, Nor, Michio. His name is Michio. Michio is unique among all main characters, where he's not only got transported to another world, but also has unique powers. He can see the HUD of the game for some reason, and his Swords of Milos +7 came with him as well. As every Elden Ring player, his objective is to get laid, and so the game begins. Unfortunately, no girl can see how much of a nice guy he is, so our protagonist has to buy a thick slave.
I'll need this.
That's the only option left. Now, in the quest to get some Dagusi, he will go in search of the gold and glory in dangerous monster-filled maze and also commit first-hand murder. So he can possibly buy Roxanne before the time limit, and that's it. No hyper-incredible hero journey to become the ultimate savior. It's actually a pretty ground story of just some guy trying to get laid. Just to point out, I like in Isekai Meikyuu how the anime almost gives us uncensored sex scenes in various episodes, but censor a guy getting mutilated in episode 7 by showing a black screen for some seconds. I think this is a West versus East thing. Just like material with sexy scenes gets some hard censorship here, but blood, violence and gore is not that much of a deal compared with explicit sex scenes. I don't know if I have a take on this one, I just find it funny, and might be a cultural difference so I don't get the censorship. But hey, this is a good moment to talk about the Ecchi, which Isekai Meikyuu does incredibly. It is impressive the consistency of the characters from shot to shot. They don't diverge too much from the original design, despite the angles, and the sex scenes are well drawn. I come to even to appreciate the dry bath scenes. The ones with the bucket and all. See the lines of the muscles from the characters, how the movements feel natural, and you can imagine how the bone structures were taken in consideration. Not that bone, they're normal bones. These are those details that you don't notice when it's done right, but certainly see it when it's wrong. And I appreciate this. Excellent job from the animators of Studio Passione. And just one more thing, even the sound design is well made. From the metal of the swords in battle, from fire from the magic and the claps of the cheeks, this anime is great ecchi. World building wise, it starts to show its flaws. I already mentioned the RPG menus, which this is not that video yet, I'm sorry, I might do this later. I need time to explain this. For now, I will repeat myself and say that most RPG mechanics are not well used in most fantasy anime, since they could be actual magic that is part of the world, has impact on the people's daily lives and feel natural part of it, just like the air that they breathe, the water that they drink, and the slaves that he buys. Which, by the way, I'm not a fan of the slave thing, and just to be clear, I know that the other shows already did that, and as much as slavery is fucked up in real life, I understand that the anime is not portraying the same thing or with intention to promote slavery or to endorse it. They are using for some reason as a sort of way to say, hey, this world is on past times of society where slavery is something common, unfortunately. Just like the main character that takes baths with a wet towel and a bucket like the old ways. I can understand how this brings a sort of depth to this world. Too bad that this is one of the few things that the author chose to define the show and develop the world building of Isekai Meikyuu. That again, I'm repeating myself from the last video. Isekai Meikyuu doesn't take the past life of the protagonist in consideration, which Isekai Ojisan does, and it impacts the most, since the past life is the one where he got Isekai. So all his powers, all his tales, and the jokes all comes from his adventure and how important it was for this person that came from our world, got into a fantasy one, and now is back. That is also how his nephew Takafumi can judge his non-cliché and climax cutting actions, while at the same time he does the same thing to his childhood friend who likes him, Fujimiya. The only aspect from our world that Michio can bring to the fantasy one is RPG gaming knowledge. Isekai Meikyuu is not your average isekai, just to be clear. It has good animation and music and is a top tier ecchi, but not a great isekai by any means. That is not average isekai, most of them don't have much positives or this production value, while Ojisan is the ugly duckling of the story. The show animation is not superb, it has these great moments, but you can see the simple editing, which I can definitely see, and animation. But it delivers a fantastic story and good laughs. This anime deserved a dedicated review as an underappreciated gem from this season, one that I didn't even bother to try, and now I came to appreciate as one of my favorite isekai.